everybody, welcome back for another video, and today is December 2nd, and it is my installment for the Planner Advent. I was invited by the wonderful Simone, also known as Simone, here on YouTube and on Instagram, to be one of the people to take part in this wonderful idea that she had. There's going to be a wonderful group of people that are all friends with Simona that will be participating in this wonderful event. Let me first start by introducing myself. My name is John. I'm known across many places as Planning with John or John Rush. I'm a planner nerd and a classical flutist, and that is usually what I'm known for by most people, as being a classical musician and a university professor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert here a little clip of a little bit of flute playing that I did today. My students at the universities have their juries next week, and we're doing them differently because of COVID and everything, where they actually have to record something, submit it to YouTube, and then send faculty the links and all that fun stuff. And this is what I did today to show them of a good example. So here I am playing just a little bit of Handel. Enjoy! So that was just a quick little taste of what I normally do on the day-to-day, or what I used to do much more on the day-to-day. I did actually have a rehearsal today, so that was the first time in a month that I've had a rehearsal. But what you can see I'm doing right now is I'm taking my temperature for the rehearsals that we're having. We have to record our temperature in the morning, record our temperature in the evening, and keep track of all of that stuff and turn it in and all of that, just to make sure that there's no drastic increase in temperatures for people, so we can help keep things under control. So that is who I am. I'm a flute player, teacher, and planner nerd. So how did I get to planning? I've been planning most of my life in some sort of a calendar paper system. My mother, for the longest time, was a Franklin Covey user. She's had a couple. They were always like the large, like A5 size rings that had like the zip around. And she's had them in like she had like a red one, a blue one, and a green one, like a burgundy red, like a a really royal blue, and then like a hunter green. I remember those ones, but I think that's all. And then I even remember we had a when we lived in Illinois, we had like a Franklin Covey store where all you could get there were pens and inserts and binders and all of the gadgets that they had for the Franklin Covey system. But I mean, that was also the '80s. It was really kind of a big thing back then. But I always had a calendar, whether it was the one we got at school, especially once we got into junior high school, and high school and college. I always had the paper ones that was basically just a weekly view that they provided for us with. It might have had a month at the beginning, but I remember it being a weekly calendar, with either, usually you'd get one of either horizontal or vertical. I tend to like the horizontal better, and I still do, so I find that very interesting since that's been with me, for such a long time. So you saw that I wrote down my temperature. My temperature's been really good. Just today, like you'll see that I wrote down, it was 97.8 in the morning and 98.2 in the evening. So, hey, no fever here. So that's who I am and how I got into planning. Now, what are my current favorites? There's lots of different questions that we have here. So, how did I get into planning? What are my current favorites? I've got lots of current favorites. I don't know who doesn't. Right now, I'm writing in my that is my Filofax. It's the Ochre Malden, and I love this little notebook. I've had it for a long time. Most people know me on the internet for being a lover of travelers' notebooks. And what I find so very ironic is there's only one traveler's notebook on the table view that you're looking at right now. And it is, of all things, an A6, Mystic's Little Gift in the Raven. I have it set up for this year because I used it for, most of the year, especially, the summer, through the beginning of the school year. I'm going to keep it set up. I think I'm going to make a monthly calendar for it for next year, and have it set up just because I tend to jump back into that size, which is a size I never thought I would jump back into. So those are that's one of my current favorites. But I'm also loving, I have this beautiful little VDS VanderSpek pocket ring. I think they call it a compact. I can't remember the names of all of these, but it's a pocket ring planner, and it's made of the Touch Me Noir leather. It's got the beautiful back pocket. I've turned it into my everyday carry. I've got my wallet stuff in there. I've got all of my planning in there, and it's not like I have to leave the house that much anyways. But I've got all of my stuff in it, and so I'm loving that. And even earlier this year, I bought a beautiful, it's kind of dirtying up. I've been using it a lot. It's a standard rings, which I know it's the one on the upper left corner. It's made by Mystic's Little Gift, and it is a standard traveler's notebook. Well, it's probably, you'd consider it like an extra large. And then it has A5 rings in it, and it's really unique, and it's something that I've been loving, and I was using a lot until I got my new pocket rings. But that's one thing that I'm loving, and you'll also see that I have a couple of A6s that I've using, and they're really, really, really quite nice. One of them is my Hobonichi, and the other is my documented journey, which is in cork. I've I've always had leather traveler's notebooks and leather binders, but I've been thinking a lot about maybe moving forward and trying to see if I can minimize my footprint, minimize damage and harm that I'm doing to the world, to the universe, with trying to use renewable resources. That right there is my little A6, and it is so cute. There's my Hobonichi, and I pull it out because I figure since it has December in it, it's a 2021 Hobonichi in the A6 size, but it has the monthly view, so I thought I would use the monthly view for tracking of what I'm doing for Planner Advent. So you'll see me do some stuff in the calendar there. So the next question is, what was my last purchase or most recent purchase? And that would be this beautiful A6 Hobonichi and the documented journey cover. I'm thinking of, I'm not sure what I want to use for my Hobonichi, but at the moment right now I have a MD notebook and one of my monthly calendars in there, and also a grid notebook that has just notes and stuff in it. So I'm still in the deciding phase of what I want to use for next year, but I definitely think some of my documented journeys will make the voyage into next year for sure. So the next question is, what is my biggest planner fail? That is interesting question. One thing that I think I have a tendency to flip-flop into lots of different systems and sizes. Rings, TN, bound notebooks. I do have a tendency to not kind of stick with anything. And that's something I would like to see. And I think a lot of it came down to is, you see on Instagram or you see on YouTube videos, you see something new, or even, the owner of a company releases a new leather or a new pocket design or a new this. And it's, being that we're planner people, is, you want to try it. You're like, oh, maybe this is the thing that I need that will, that I will never turn away from. And I think I'm a little too fickle for that. I have I do have dyslexia, but I have a form of ADHD where I can't remember the name of it, where it's a kind of with a procrastination in a way, or where you have something that you have that works and you're using it, but you see something else and then you got to have that. Or like when I was in school, like I have this assignment that's due, I've got to do it, I've got to do it, but I want to do everything but that, and find ways to do everything but that one assignment that's due. And I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, so boom, like Ali Brown says, on to the next squirrel or down the next rabbit hole. I go. But I think that is a big planner fail. And I am kind of easily swayed by seeing all of the pretty new things that everybody has. I was perfectly content in my standard Midori passport and standard size when I first started planning. I when I went from planning in college to planning, you know, now when I finally hit the Midori Traveler's Notebook, I really kind of found a place where I felt home because I felt I could be creative and I felt I could actually keep track of my schedule, keep track of my to-dos, make sure that I got all the places that I need to be, all the schools, all the, I got everywhere where I needed to be. And and then I watched more and more videos, and there were Chic Sparrows, and there were Foxy Fixes, and then both of those companies were releasing different types of leather and colors and different sizes. All of a sudden, it wasn't just pocket, passport, and standard. All of a sudden, there were A6 and B6 and B6 Slim and micro and nano and A5, and there was just so much. And then when you throw rings into the mix, there were just so many things, and I just wanted to play and to try it all. And then you throw Hobonichis into the mix. I mean, it was a lot, and I think this year I've actually finally feel like, my system for planning really hasn't changed. I need a monthly calendar. I need a weekly calendar, sometimes dailies or notes, for keeping track of projects. Like, that's my system. It doesn't change. And, but, I think just wanting to try everything and then try everything and then, oh, I like this leather. Let's get that in every size. And, I think that is my biggest planner fail, is not sticking with something and, seeing what could come of it. It's interesting. So you'll see what I'm doing here is I doodled some Karopi. He's one of my favorite little Sanrio characters, and his little snail friend and his little ghost friend. And so I just decided that I would, color them in. I know it's down towards the bottom of the screen, but I'll see if I can do something in post edit to get it zoomed and up a little bit higher. But while doing the voiceover, I can see that it's going to be low. So I guess that would be my biggest planner fail, is jumping around too much. But it's so easy to get, onto the next trend. One thing I've never done is I haven't gotten into the stologies or any of that stuff. And I know B6 is not my favorite size. The notebook that you see on the cover or on the screen right now is my Hobonichi A5. A5 is, I think, a good size for me for journaling and for art and for that type of stuff. But for planning, I've tried using it, and it's just, I think, too big. I feel like I'm wasting paper. Now here I can throw some washi and doodle and journal to my heart's content, and I don't feel like I'm wasting paper because, I'm just going at my own pace. And yeah, you can do that with the bullet journal, but I don't like the bullet journal method because I don't like drawing all that stuff out, and I don't like the original method, the way he uses his monthly calendar. So yeah, so I guess that's my biggest planner fail. The next question is define planner piece, and that, I think, is it's a little bit different for everybody. Some people, it's a system, like using rings or using a Hobonichi or using a traveler's notebook or a moleskin that has, monthly, weekly calendars in it, because I used that in the past and it worked fine. I think planner piece is really what you make of it. You know, are you happy in that size? If you're happy in that size and it's meeting all of your needs, or that system, then I think that is a description of planner piece. And I think it's okay though that your system can change. Earlier when I said, I wish I could stick to one system, sometimes I needed more space. I needed more room, more real estate on the page for notes or for teaching. Or sometimes I needed less. So that's kind of dictated why I have, you know, gone to so many different things. But the one thing that has maintained the same, no matter what size I'm in, is I have that monthly calendar. And for me, it's got to be at least a minimum a month on 2 pages. I can use a month on 1 page for tracking certain things, but I need, a month on 2 pages. Usually like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on the left side of the page, and then like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and like a notes column or a to-do column on the right page. For me, that's preferable. And I think one reason why I like the Traveler's Notebook system is I like seeing a completed monthly insert. So even though I've switched out of my A6 Traveler's Notebook, since I was using that at the beginning of the year, I'm still filling in my monthly because I want to see my fully completed monthly calendar. And also it's easier to keep track of that than it is a bunch of loose leaf ring pages. And that's something that I need to that I need to come to terms with, is what to do with all these loose leaf ring pages. So you'll see that I put down some washi tape down on the page. That's washi tape I recently got in an order from Etsy, and I think the artist is the same artist that that Lin Chia Ning. Sorry, I know I totally butchered the pronunciation of that. But I think she's the same artist as the stickers, because some of the mushrooms and some of the little doodads in it are exactly what's in the sticker packs that I have. So you'll see I'm using a stencil. I love stencils. So that definitely is something that would bring planner piece for me, is having stencils. So you can see that I'm pulling up on my phone the questions that Simone and everybody else has agreed to. And so now I'm going to do just some simple writing in my journal for today. I'm going to write down the questions, and I'm actually going to answer them off the top of my head. Because I've realized when I do voiceovers like this, if I have everything written out to the T, I sound very robotic, and it doesn't work well for me. I don't get a good product. So yeah, this has just been all off the cuff, just my rambling thoughts. I'm so looking forward to this planner advent. You're going to see some wonderful videos in the next four weeks, next 25 days. Let me just remind you of who all are participating in this. Of course, the wonderful Simone is the one that got this all together. This is her little baby that we are helping to participate in. Elise Corner, she's a wonderful planner, and she has some really great doodles and some wonderful videos here. The wonderful Daksine, she can if you are a person that loves the stology and loves that kind of like bullet journal where you add and subtract and make it work for you, she's got some amazing videos and some wonderful content on Instagram that can really help you with that. You can see I'm lining out some of my favorite pens. I have no idea why I did that, but there they are. And of course, we also have the wonderful ink Imperfections. She has a wonderful YouTube channel and a wonderful Instagram feed of her planner. She has been using the standard traveler's notebook size for her planning for years. She started in a like a Foxy Fix, the Boss Babe, I think, Madison, beautiful black planner, and then stuck with it for a year, and that was her impetus to get her VanderSpek in the Touch Me Noir, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get something in the Touch Me Noir, because it's just such a great leather. And and then of course there's me, which if you're on my YouTube channel, you know me. So so that's kind of what I have for you today. I know it's kind of a long and a rambly video, but there we are. What I will do is I will put the Christmas music back on and let you just watch how I finish out the video. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you in the next one. And I will link everything down below. Bye-bye.